Hey there, Facebook land. This is Amy Lequier with Champion Dentist, and welcome in on our Facebook Live, where we're going to talk about each week. We're going to have a 15-minute segment during your lunch hour to really give you some practice fuel, some tips, some strategies to take with you and implement. And these are some of the most pain points that you're having right now in your office. So I wanted to make sure that you all let us know where you're coming from. Join in as you're coming in, ask questions, comment, make sure that you understand that we are here to help you and that we want to help you build that dream team. So today what we're going to talk about is how to build that dream team. We're going to take some time and really focus on what it is that helps in the hiring process. Give you some strategies on how come my team just doesn't get along. Also, what can we do to improve our system on hiring? So what are some reasons why our new hires just don't stay? Now, a lot of us might think it has to do with pay, but typically for a new hire, that's not the reason. You know, you set that expectation of what they are going to expect for payment. Now, the other thing is that, you know, sometimes we think, okay, maybe it's the practice culture, maybe it's they have to drive far. Many times it's because they don't know their expectations. They're not sure, what their job duty is. Now, if you're a dental assistant or a dental hygienist or a scheduling coordinator at one office, doesn't necessarily mean when you go to a new office that you're going to be doing the same exact thing. Now, we might think that a dental assistant across the board is kind of the same wherever you are, but that's not true. Some are going to make sure that we have the expectations that are clear so that we say, okay, what is it? And we have to have things documented. And notoriously in the dental field, a lot of us go by either protocols that were from previously, hello from Scottsdale, and making sure that we are going to follow up with those as changes happen in the office. So if you have a binder from 20 years ago, you may want to dust it off and say, okay, what can we do? What do we look for differently now? So creating those job descriptions, making sure that we have something. What is it that we're looking for? What is it that role is? Because just because you are looking for someone now doesn't mean that you're tailoring that job description to who's in the role currently, right? We want to make sure, what are we looking for to gain? So just because we have a job description or someone's in that role now, maybe what we're looking for is a scheduling coordinator who will also do some marketing for us, who will post on social media. Maybe there's some time where we want a dental assistant to do some front office duty and we cross-train. So what is it that we're looking for? Or a hygienist where we want them to do some community outreach. So whatever it is we're looking for, we want to make sure that we're growing with our skill set and what the vision of the practice owner is. And as a team member, we want to make sure we understand what that practice vision is. So how many of us have been ghosted with an interview? I mean, I talked to a dental assistant and she was supposed to come in that day and she just never showed up. I talked to her an hour before. I'm like, what is up with that? So this whole ghosting thing is really kind of frustrating. So there are some things that are out of our control and that we cannot do anything about. So those are just things that we have to deal with in the business world. They're frustrating. However, what we can control are what we say at the interview, training ourselves, practicing for that interview, having those interview questions, not just trying to wing it, really getting a strategy behind what it is that we want. So first, going through, what is the job description? What are we looking for? Okay, what are our goals in interviewing this person? What are we looking for to grow? What are the skill sets? What are the strengths of this particular person? So we want to make sure that we are hiring for alignment, not just their skill set. One thing I've been in the industry since 1994, right? And all kinds of practices, mostly private practice, and then as far as a hygienist, worked with a lot of different personality types and a lot of different skill set. So what I found is that sometimes, because a lot of times we're avoiders, don't want the conflict, we keep employees on for far too long. So sometimes it's just not the right fit, and it'll be a right fit for somewhere else, and that's okay. So we want to make sure that we listen to our gut. We also say, okay, what are the facts here? What are the pros? What are the cons? Do we need to move on? Have we coached this person enough? And maybe we have, and it's just not the right fit, and that's okay. Now, sometimes we hire because we're out of desperation. We want a warm body. We want someone to just, hand us instruments, or we want someone to answer the phones. Now, there are some ways now with technology that some of this stuff we can buffer with some technology, and maybe hire out some third-party calling systems, some artificial intelligence. So that might be something you look into too. So, as you're looking for a team, what are the advancements we're looking for? Now, when we're thinking about our non-negotiables, it's going to be different for everyone. So you've determined that you need an employee. You said, okay, we've got a job description. We've made it clear on what we want that role to be. So we've got all it documented. We put an ad out. Now we have the interview, the candidate coming in. We have our list of interview questions we're going to ask. But what are the non-negotiables you're looking for? What are some things that, we all need to be equal opportunity employers, and we need to make sure that we're giving a fair chance to those candidates who are coming through. However, you know what your core values are and your vision are for the practice. So we want to make sure that we understand, what is that skill set versus the personality. Because as we all know, there are certain things that we can't train. So if someone has a bad attitude, but they're really great at handing instruments or, sterilization or answering the phone, but they have a bad attitude, that might not be the best fit for your practice. We also want to make sure that the employees that we do have are hiring or are in their strength zone. So maybe sometimes instead of hiring a candidate, we look into, wait a minute, who's already here that we have that maybe has a personality and a strength zone in something that gives them more purpose and fulfillment. That's where our team gets motivated, is when they are in their strength zone and they have that purpose and fulfillment. So before you hire someone, and as you are in that process, make sure you're involving your team. They're going to be working hand in hand with the whoever you do hire. So try not to hire out of desperation. Take the time. I know it can be hard sometimes. And look who aligns with your vision and your culture, not just someone that, because they have the credentials, that's part of it. That's not the whole thing. Now, as far as onboarding, once you've found that candidate, we want to make sure that we have those clear expectations of those duties that they're responsible for, what is their primary roles, and then getting feedback, providing feedback, and scheduling that time and saying, okay, after 1 week, we're doing a check-in. Then we're going to do a 30, 60, 90 evaluation. We want to make sure that they understand their roles, that we are setting those clear boundaries of, this is your role, this is what I feel like you're doing really great, this is where we need some improvement. So the feedback is really important, because honestly, I've talked to so many offices where I have them fill out an assessment, right? And I'll say, what are some things that you're striving to do on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you feel like you have clear expectations? Do you feel like you have alignment with the vision? And what I found a lot of times on these assessments is that many times people aren't getting the feedback that they really want. Now, we praise in public, right? And if it is something negative, we want to do that in private. So we want to make sure if there is some sort of feedback that needs improvement as a performance-based, that we make sure we have that. And it's not just an annual review where it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get a raise or not get a raise. It's not about that. It's about, what are the expectations? Are they being met? What are the goals? And how can I help you achieve them? And if you're not reaching that task, if you're not answering the phone within the 3 rings, or whatever it is that you have tasked for you, what's the barrier? How can we help with that? So we want to do those check-ins. We want to make sure if there's anything that's unclear, and set a boundary with when is it appropriate to have conversations. So, if the dentist is the one who's doing the feedback, or the office manager, and someone has a question, it's not really appropriate to stop in the hallway unless it's a life and death situation or it's a medical emergency. But those hallway conversations can get a little tricky. So make sure that the feedback that you're trying to provide is scheduled, that you set it on the calendar. That way it's more likely to happen. And if it does need to get rescheduled, make sure it gets rescheduled. And then really hiring those top A players is through retention and recognition. So it is nice to have those perks, right? It's nice to get the lunches. It's nice to be able to have a little Starbucks card. But what really is beneficial and what happens with long-term is the recognition of the purpose and fulfillment in their role. So when people don't feel like they're providing a purpose, or they don't feel fulfilled, 1, the production goes down, and 2 is they might be looking for something else that's going to bring them more joy and more fulfillment in their role. So understanding what the strength zones are for each team member, providing that feedback, giving them clear expectations, this all goes hand in hand with those business practices in a dental office that really we want to help with and get you to that next level of growth, and helping to get your employees aligned, cohesive, and with a sense of fulfillment. So each week you're going to see us have these 15-minute strategy and tip sessions. Each week's going to be a different protocol, different thing that we talk about. So if you have comments, if there's things you want us to talk about, today our pain point was really about how do we engage our team? How do we hire for retention? And so I hope that you got some value out of these tips. You can reach out to us, go to our website, championdentist.com. You can set up an insight strategy call with us. We'd be happy to listen to what's going on in your office. We are here to help you. And I want to say, dentists, hygienists, assistants, front office team, all of you watching, all of you in those roles, you are doing a great thing. These patients come to us because they want to make a difference in their smile. So what you do is important. And I think sometimes, it's great to get those new hires. It's sometimes us that have been in the offices for a while, we forget that. So when we hire someone new, give them encouragement, when they're excited for their new role, be positive, encourage each other. And this industry is amazing, and I love being in this industry, and I am so excited that each week that we get to spend a little glimpse of time together to fill your bodies with some learning, some education, and really partnering in this time together to grow you in all your skill set. So I am going to sign off here, and we want to make sure that you join us next week, that you check out our website. We have webinars with CE, so if you like free CE, come join us, check it out, and we will touch base with you next week. See you guys.